Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are Stiffler Manufacturing, where we turn steel bars into slides. We'll be watching John Crump news on the $0 tax stamp regarding the HPA, and just see what his opinions and stuff are on that.
So, zeroing out of the tax stamp has its final hurdle. It does not look like we will be getting the full HPA Short Act. We will be getting $0 tax stamp. So, let's go ahead and talk about it. And I have someone on that's going to discuss it with me, and it turns out it doesn't look like it's right. Happy Monday morning, guys. It is Monday, and I got word late last night that the parliamentarian has. Patrick, we can't hear you. I know, because I'm trying to get somebody else on. Oh, Hank Strange, Mr. Strange. How you doing, buddy? Pull up the seat. Pull up the seat. Join us. So, I got word late last night from a low-level guy, some legislative aide, that the parliamentarian has approved the $0 tax stamp, and now you heard word from a legislative director, which is the guy that works directly under senators, that is 100% true, and I'm not going to pay.
Hey, Chanson, how's it going? Live life. What's going on?
Because he wanted the full HPA. Yes, we all did. Yeah, that's not acceptable to choose to balance the sexual method. We're not. We don't want that. Allegedly. So we have a win. It's just. I don't consider it a win. It still stays on registry. It's a compromise that we didn't need to take. A compromise that didn't need to happen. No, right.
So way better than what's going on.
Come off the NFA. So what's this whole argument you guys are making? Because there's I'm sure everybody's seen this. Well, since there's no longer a tax paid, it's now just a registry. We just need to sue over the registry. Yeah, I mean, it does make it a little bit simpler to sue. That's just a coping mechanism. But it's a cope. That's what I thought too. Coping mechanism. Yeah. It's not a win. It's still not a win. That's just a right. Yeah. We've had everything we wanted, and they had the ability to just say, "Screw you." It sounds like wait till the midterm. Oh my God! Yeah, totally. Okay.
Yeah, so you're not wrong, Live Life.
Two ideas on this. I'm trying to figure out what the loophole is. And so, all right, three ideas. One, I floated the idea on the group text yesterday. It's like they should make it a $10 tax, so we can still say it's a tax. Well, it's still a tax. It's just a $0 because zero is a number, so it's just a $0 tax. So it's still technically a tax. Are they going to
$0 tax? Yeah.
All of those tax stamps they put on the paper that says say zero? Because right now your tax stamp says 245. Yeah. Well, that's the tax stamp.
Get these guys real quick. So you are probably aware we are not happy with the status of it. Obviously, we have no say in how Congress decides to do things, but we are not happy with how the HPA has gone. It's great that there's going to be a $0 tax stamp, but we wanted the registry gone too. So it's just something we have to keep fighting for.
Obamacare. They would have done anything they wanted, and when somebody called them out for it, then the media wouldn't have covered it. But nobody would have cared. They would have just gone down. We're just doing this. We're the majority. Yeah, they would have fire the parliamentarian or disregarded what the parliamentarian said. Why? So now it was reversed. If that was a conservative parliamentarian, this wouldn't even be. They would have been packing up, going home. Because our people that want to stack the Supreme Court. Yeah. So, which was a bad idea. 80 years ago when who was it? Who was going to do it? We should never ever go. Yeah, jail time for not paying a $0 tax is 100% real. That's correct. It's still a tax. It's just $0.
Well, you still have to take your time.
You all pay for it.
Register all of this.
And I have to pay
photograph.
The photographs can cost money depending where you go. Fingerprints are $15 if I go to the sheriff. It might be $20 at this point.
Oh no, well, digital fingerprints. I mean, it was like $50-$60. But that's the thing. The registration is the governmental overreach that we don't want. Whether it's $2, $0, $200, the registration is the issue. So the fact that they're thinking, okay, these guys are just a bunch of regular average Joes worried about money, so we're going to focus on the consumer.
I don't think they're concerned. I don't think they think that way. I think they think, I don't give a shit what those people want. Throw them some small bone so I'll get my vote next time when I come up for re-election.
Well, that's right. They think this is a win. They think it's like, well, they'll still get something, right?
Yes, yeah.
So I compromise.
Plan. This is my thing. I can just go with the plan. I think I said this before, on our podcast, that
It's kind of like they have a thing where if we win too much towards the Second Amendment, they have less leverage to retain votes and to deal with the next fight in Congress. This is just another thing they can go, hey, look, we didn't get this last one, but we'll keep fighting for it, so elect us again.
Give it to us, and then we'll put it in the bill, and we get a big win, and then we can cheer. Or the parliamentarians going to kick it out, and we're going to go, oh, man, we tried, boys, we tried. It's her fault, that darn parliamentarian. They don't give a shit.
Oh, very nice, Woodline. Nice.
Okay, so the two ideas I'm left with on the rug pull is one, is the rug pull because they need that carrot in front of us, elect us next time, which maybe you touched on that, or is it that come the next election cycle, the Democrats are going to say, see, these evil Republicans put these death devices in the hands of everyone. What they're doing is, they didn't want this at all, I can guarantee you that. But we pressured them so much that they had to put it in there, and they did not really want to put it in there, but they had to put it in there. This is all on the Republicans. What is the final win by pulling halfway out at this point? So the only win is that they get to justify the money that's on the.
That's kind of why we were holding off as well. We kind of want to get some, and it'd be great for content, for videos, but and just of course to use for our own personal uses.
Even with $0, they still get to hold their unique position where they dance to people directly. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. They still get to hold the suppressors over us. We still have to go through the process. Sure, there's a $0 tax now, but we still have to go through the full process.
I think I know what Matt out there is getting at. Let me check his account. Like Matt,
I trust him. He's tax lawyer.
Yeah. What happened? It's Bud Busters now. Bud Blasters.
Hey, Virgil Hutton, what's going on?
That's the only fan. Yeah, right. So, Hank, are you actually wants to get a shout out to him? He knows he has the only fan. We're talking about this. We're not talking about Rich. Stay on topic. Only toes. Yeah, it does.
Just another day getting out of the shop. I'll do probably a vertical live after this. Talk about a few things we're trying to get released over the next few weeks. Going to the range tomorrow. These guys that I'm watching doing their stream that they did earlier, unfortunately I missed it when they were live. So you got John Crump News, you've got Flying Rich Firearms, DLD After Dark, and I recognize the face of one of those gentlemen there, but I'm struggling for the life of me to remember which group they're with. Yeah, probably. Probably not wrong there, Live Life.
Far enough to really quash that can of worms. So,
And we did all their bidding.
Step away for just a second.
That tax, you still have to like register for the thing.
nothing. It doesn't nothing works like that.
The whole tax.
Yeah, it's SBRs, it's SBRs, SBSs, AOWs, and suppressors. So let me ask you, so it's only for things that are actually covered under the Second Amendment, right?
It's the only right that you have to step.
It shouldn't be established because then they can tax anything. So to get rid of combustion engines, they could go, okay, we're going to tax anyone who has that.
It's $0.
Yes. Well, yeah, in the beginning,
$0.
yeah.
You mean like income tax was going to only affect the wealthy 3%?
Do you have to pay, Rich? Do you have to pay for FAA drone application, or is that a $0 tax as well?
Actually, I think there's like a $5 registration fee for the drone.
It's another. Oh, it's only $5 to sell your rights away.
Yeah.
To my airspace.
You know what I think? Sorry, not sorry, but I think that they know the truth that gun guys are simps, and they're gonna just go for this and go, oh, we'll fight it somewhere else.
Like you always say about living on the Democrat plantation, we're living on the Republican rhino plantation.
Yes, we are.
Dude, and you know what? Anyone out there screaming that this is a win should get punched in the face. I mean, you don't actually punch people, but
it's not the win we wanted.
And they will always threaten you, like you and I have seen it in person, right?
Oh.
When all these laws went into place here in Florida, they go, well, if you don't vote for me, the Democrats are going to be worse. No,
we got red flag. We got red flag. We got no guns to 18 to 21-year-olds. All of that post-Parkland stuff.
Triggers.
We still have it all. And we yelled at the guy that was pushing. Republican was pushing it through, and he said, "Well, if you don't vote for me, we'll just have a Democrat in." And it was like, maybe that's something.
Filibusters is it?
No, it's I forgot his name. Although
Or his nose.
Nice nose.
Good job on the nose here.
Thanks. I'm sorry, I'm not at my desk, but what I was telling to John is the interesting part of this is if you taxes, the NFA was passed under the tax and spend clause.
Yep.
Okay. That's very narrow. That's not like the Commerce Clause where you can, where the courts have said you can basically, it can be about, jerking off the birds, right? So there has to be either a revenue raising purpose or effect. And it's long been held that the NFA had no revenue generating purpose. So they don't get to say it's a revenue generating purpose because they've, for 80 years, agreed that it didn't. So it has to be revenue raising effect. And if you literally, so now if we do this, it would be that everything except machine guns are a $0 tax. Destructive devices, right? But everything except machine guns and destructive devices are a $0 tax. You're not allowed to pay the machine gun tax, and the destructive device tax is then a hilarious non-revenue raiser. So it does make that argument easier, and it's an argument we've made for years, but it's still like the courts are willing to break their spines to not give you that, right? So they will literally, in one of our cases where we brought up the tax and spend clause, they literally like hallucinated case law, like 3 different cases, and said, well, these cases together say that that's not real. It's like, okay. Isn't there a 1937 Supreme Court case law literally stating
yes,
it is a tax?
Yeah.
But so it's not. So there's no debate that the NFA is a tax, and there's no debate that the NFA was passed under the tax and spend clause. The question, and there's also no debate that something that doesn't raise revenue isn't a tax, right? Which was the Obamacare case. The thing they do is what we have to know is in federal court there's a thing called the gun rule, which is when guns are involved, all bets are off. Go fuck yourself. And so,
and they still preserve a reason to put you in jail.
The other thing for people that are saying, oh, this, because you're going to hear people go that this is some sort of win. The other thing that we're not talking about that nobody has mentioned yet is we are going back to the 2-year waiting list to get your tax stamps. Putting that system so hard that we are back to what we were 5 years ago, where tax stamp took us 2 years to get. This is retarded because it's Why don't I just put in
everyone's gonna flood this?
Yeah, just flood it. Why not?
Charge your horse.
Rich, you were talking about the rug pull. Here's the interesting thing, right? So the short act in the HPA, getting rid of parts of the NFA, even if we did that, the thing that anti-gun people, because Republicans are responsible for it half the time, the thing that they would do next is just, so basically the thing is, if they can get away with this, they can just put AR-15s on. That's what I think the rug pull is. They can just put the AR-15 on, because watch this, and this is me getting a little pointy hat, Well, but because all of Reddit is going to register all of their shit, right? They're going to register every single one of their guns because, heckin' SBR Reno. And so then all of a sudden, it's going to be normal to have to get federal permission to transfer a gun.
Yep.
Right? So if we go that route,
we're better
what's
off
the big step?
Anything in there. They just
what's the big step?
It is, and we find it as it is. Then to get this, if there's zero.
It's just.
It's a silly goose thing. That's what we were saying. Rich and I, Don and I did. Yes, I'm in Florida, man. I tell you.
Yeah, I just want to say that we see us Floridians are currently outweighing the rest of the Northerners on this podcast, and it's a good thing.
It's true. But there's
no one on the podcast is from the North.
I mean, we're technically Virginians, so
yes.
So, but hang on. Yeah,
it's also kind of backed up with the pressure ruling.
This isn't that bad. Yes, it is. You're right. It's not that bad. It's absolutely atrocious. It is terrible. And what we were talking about on my show the other day is that this is okay. So for nearly a century, we have had silencers, suppressors, SBRs, SBSs, ARWs, machine guns, destructive devices. What is to stop them, like you just said, from adding ARs, from adding the original plan behind the National Firearms Act, handguns? Yeah, there is no way.
The argument that I would make is if you can't take something off, then you can't add it back on via reconciliation. I would hope that is the idea here. We can't remove them, so you can't be adding via reconciliation, which is the easiest process. Otherwise,
they can make the tax $2,000.
That's the key problem. Is at this point now they can just say, we'll just make the tax whatever we want. Screw it.
Yeah, we have if politics flip.
If we have the House, the House, the Senate, and the presidency, screw it. Reconciliation. Let's make it $2,500. Let's make it a $5,000. Shit, let's make it a $10,000 tax.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Eliminating what is a lot more procedurally difficult, and that's what should have been done. It's. I don't think it's a huge loss. I think this is just your typical. The government is being deeply and fundamentally retarded, and this is just the result, right?
Can I ask this question of everyone here? Who supports the one big beautiful bill without this? Not me.
No,
not at all.
And this, I don't think got us to do their bidding. I don't think that it's. I mean, even with it, I think it's kind of a silly thing, right? I don't agree.
That was the only reason I was for getting the big beautiful bill was I want my due out of it, and it was just fuck all. I don't care.
It's clearly bullshit.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, and
now we're selling off public lands, we're raising the debt ceiling, we're spending more money. Fuck, that's against everything I believe in.
Yeah. The funniest thing is that this tells us that inflation is. You know what this really tells us, and I think this is a really interesting observation from this whole thing. Is that inflation has gotten so silly that we don't give a shit about $200. It's that's not even for me. I'm not saying I got tons of money, right? I don't. I drive a '95 C1500, but the $200 is not the reason I avoid. I don't want to do all that. I don't want to do the paperwork. That's the reason. Yeah. I would pay $200 to not have to register.
Yeah, I missed the live from earlier. I was stuck at work, so now I'm just kind of restreaming it, answering any questions for anybody. But yeah, it's a loss. And like they were just saying, who cares about the $200? Are all of us rich, and does $200 not mean anything? No, of course it does. But yeah, I'd rather the $200 doesn't matter compared to the registration, going through the process. But this is the Congress we have, unfortunately.
The verbiage, it literally states that there is a $200 fee for a making tax for machine guns, which shall be collected. So, is the Hughes Amendment just gone now, or like what's the deal with that? Wait, where are you saying that? No, because it's an amendment language, right? So the amendment language will include some parts of the bill that are already there out of context. Because the Hughes Amendment, all the Hughes Amendment does is says that no person shall be registered, and so then all of the stuff about them not taking tax is a conforming policy. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is send in a Form 1 for an M16 lower, and just kind of see what happens.
There's kind of cases that happened. I don't know whatever happened in that case.
With the 240 Bravo or the
he said it and they gave him a tax stamp. He called him and said, "No, actually, I got that tax stamp back." And he's like, "Fuck y'all,
Come and take it."
There's no provision where you can take back tax stamps. So I think it is an interesting point. How do you you're still going to get a tax stamp after you register? It's going to have to say 0 on it. Yeah. I have a wrong tax stamp. I've never, out of shits and giggles, I have a tax stamp in there that on the paper says 5. The stamp itself says 200.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
My AOW says the same thing.
Yeah, my AOW has a $200 on stamp on it, but it's $5 tax. So
the new one is a red $5 stamp,
which is weird.
I have the digital tax stamp.
So yeah, they're gonna have to change them all. We're gonna have to get them all redesigned to $0, I guess. Get rid of the 2 and get rid of the 5. Put a 0 on it.
Well, there are ways that they might be able to keep using the $200 tax.
Oh, okay. So I was probably going to talk about this later, Kurt, but we do have where's my 19 of it? Got one here somewhere. So obviously we have, the 17 Viper. We just started making the 17 Zoom. And we are now milling out the 17 Turbo. So we have 3 models for the 17, 2 of which are ported. What the hell's my Turbo? Okay, Viper, Flash, Leonidas, Flash. What the hell? Where's my Turbo?
The whole thing, this isn't the reason.
Where you at, Turbo? There you
There
are.
Permission to transfer.
Hey, Coors Light connoisseur. So yeah, here we go. Our 19 Turbo. So we are turning this into a 17, and we've begun milling today. Poppy the Gun Guy, what's going on? So yeah, if all goes well, we'll start making these 2 to 4 weeks ish. If all goes well. Yeah, we will be doing complete 17s. We don't have them available yet, but we will. Oh, just breaking stuff apparently. Let's take that out of frame and functions check that. Toy Town Inc., how goes it? Good functions check. All right. G23, what's going on? So yeah, if that all goes well, we'll have that in well, let's call it 4 weeks ish. And we are going to be doing complete 17s. We just don't have them available right now. Oh, you did? Okay, let's take a look here.
Would any of you guys ever seen the, just general gun guys, right? Or I don't even want to say like conservative gun guys, right? But just gun guys in the general public mobilize and actually make the calls, and it needs to be pushed through in full with Section 3 and all. I've never seen that.
Ooh, G22 with the new barrel, nice.
That's just a coping mechanism.
I know, but I'm saying we did their bidding.
We have to stop supporting people just because they have an R on their
That's
name.
a cool looking frame.
The Pro 2A organization.
That is a very cool looking frame, Kurt. Nice.
Put people in that we can count on. Or maybe we just have to come to the conclusion that we just don't have enough juice to make anything.
Hey, you were talking about when the Parkland bill came in. I remember.
Yeah, we do have complete 19s. We're just working on getting the barrels and more parts kits in to do complete 17.
Because,
Not sure if you want to do a Viper or a Kirby.
I know what you're doing. I'm gonna vote against you if you do this. So I did. I've consistently voted Democrat every time Rick Scott has been.
And he's just been rewarded, man. That guy, I think he's Nosferatu, to be honest.
But more people need to do that. We need to be willing to actually just straight and look. But what's going to happen? Like, and people are saying, no. But if you do that, but if you go for the Democrats, then the Democrats will win. It's like, okay, guess what? It already happened.
So the interesting thing to me is when Obama was in office and we had not Parkland, we had Sandy Hook, we had all the other, and they were pushing the Van Green tips, and they were pushing the Van AR. People were so energized to block all of it that nothing happened. Like,
in fact, during Obama's presidency, we actually more people in the United States were able to own NFA firearms than before because they got rid of law enforcement, consent.
It's not fun to be under attack constantly, but more people were paying attention and on top of these things. Then Trump's first presidency, people were like, "Oh, don't worry about it. He's gonna take care of it." And then we lost bump stocks, we lost all sorts of shit. So
he closed off imports to like the remaining of Eastern Europe for no reason. Out of nowhere.
He's Russian shit in. I need them to reverse 545, by the way. Put that out there in the universe. We need them to reverse the 545 import. I need that.
Well, even if they reverse it, the like super duper mega Trump sanctions will still make it so we can't have it.
Yep,
it's true.
At some point we have to recognize that this doesn't work anymore, and we're insane if we keep believing it. And that's the only path to actually being able to do anything about it.
Yeah, we should go insane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they say if the definition of insanity is that you don't realize you're crazy.
Well, doing the same thing.
But if you realize you're crazy, maybe then you don't become crazy.
But that's all. The whole thing is crazy.
Yeah.
Because they know they got us by the short hairs. They know that they got us by the short hairs. None of us want to vote for Democrats.
We have to get rid of rhinos, even if it means that you get Democrats in there, and then people start to worry. And then maybe they go, okay, so we'll put up
National Weather Service. We got a dust storm until 8:15.
It's like Musk has been saying we need a third party.
Oh, is it?
Listen to that though. It's like, should I, swallow a shotgun or hug a hand grenade? Right? Like it's
looks like we got a storm coming in.
There is no good option. I agree. Having an additional party, a different party, maybe someone that actually cares about liberty, freedom, and independence. It's absurd, and the fact that I'm sorry, but so much for no compromise. I mean, I literally look. I love the GOA. I pay the GOA every single month, and I've been doing that for a long time. And when I saw them say, this is a close second best win, I'm like,
you already knew that they were going to push for that because they didn't want the first thing.
And they did. They put it in there as a.
Looks like we got a big old storm coming our way.
They had said, but
they do.
Hold on. So, your literal, and I know there's GOA dudes watching right now. All right, so no disrespect, but the whole thing is no compromise. So to put a post on Twitter that says no compromise, but yo, check out this sweet compromise, I'm like, all right.
Oh damn, G23, that looks sweet.
Yeah, that would stung.
There is no as somebody who's worked in the industry, which shouldn't be an industry for long enough, there is nobody who works as a full-time job in activism that wants to, eliminate their use case.
That's their entire purpose is to put themselves out of a job that they don't want to do.
You're saying the NAACP doesn't want to be out of business?
No, they don't. And so I'll give a little, I'll push back on DLD. I'm the opposite. I'm someone who hates the GOA. I think they're unintelligent and useless, and that they do more harm than good. However, they really got people to call in, and I think that gave us the better chance that we've ever had. Of course, claiming victory is bizarre, but I do at least want to say that there was really GOA behind the push to get people to really ring those phones, and I do think that was pretty good.
I ran claim victory also.
So do you think this is just GOA, or is it all written?
No, it's not the org. It's not the orgs. It's not the orgs. Yeah, this is the Overton window. This is people. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, are you asking me what got us this close, or is that how all 2A orgs are?
Probably both. I would say both of those things is what I'm getting to. I mean, because look, we could beat up on GOA. I support GOA as well.
Yeah,
I don't support any national gun rights organization because they're all dog shit.
Yeah, so that's something I do too. I used to be a former Golden Eagle member of the NRA, but the NRA wasn't doing enough, in my opinion.
Years ago.
Member of Gun Owners of America, the Firearms Policy Coalition. I never went to any of the events, but I paid for membership with the Arizona Citizens Defense League. Was part of a whole letter writing campaign across the state of Arizona, multiple other states, as well as up to the president about establishing Second Amendment sanctuary cities, counties, and states. So I did a lot of advocacy at the local to somewhat national level. Nothing famous, Got a few letters written back to me from county sheriffs, and senators. Got one from Trump a while back, and probably ought to have been. But that was a big part of it before I got involved with Stiffler Manufacturing and started doing gun slides and stuff. And it's important that you support your local and national 2A organizations. Just be aware of what they're doing too, because the NRA has lost quite a bit of trust with some of their actions, but they still do do some stuff. And there's some important programs and useful programs that they still have that people can utilize and engage with.
And then the judge goes, "You're actually right about that," and the guy's like, "Actually, we're not going to charge you with this anymore."
Right, exactly.
Okay, here is a scholarship chest for 4 knots nowhere. Assuming that it passes as it is, does that open up opportunities to go after the constitutionality of the NFA, since there is no longer a tax on SBRs oppressors?
And SBSs and AOWs. Yeah, so that's what we talked about before. I think, it opens up the same opportunity that's been there for machine guns since 1986. And that's a challenge that has been levied repeatedly, and the courts will close their ears and cover their eyes and scream until you stop saying it. So it's a step forward to nothing. I guess one step forward into the wall, I guess. You know what I mean?
The only thing there is the more people you get invested,
Yeah.
the reason, if this would have gone through, if this same event would have happened in 2004, there would not have been a single call to a senator. Nobody would have given a shit. People should go look at suppressor forums, message boards, stuff like that from the mid-2000s. It's bizarre. The mid-2000s NFA landscape is fucking weird because
you know how long I had to wait for my first suppressor stand?
Mine was 18 months.
I was 13.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, man, that came back on.
Yeah, and everyone is like, that's really fast.
Yeah. Dude, they used to mail them, like back, in the 90s, they would mail them, and it would come back in like 6 weeks. Snail mail.
Yes. Yeah, 90s and early 2000s were real fast. Yeah. But so the only, and I'm trying not to get positives here because I still think this is overall a negative, but the more people you get involved, the more Overton window is a good thing to say here, the more the window shifts to, okay, these shouldn't even be on the NFA, this is retarded, and the more people we get, that's how phone calls happen. But it's still stupid because we had everything, and they should have just overturned that dumb woman, I'm trying not to curse too much, and just said, no, screw you, we're going to push everything through.
Ultimately, yeah, the thing that works the best here is for more people to get into guns. The more you get into guns, the more you realize, like, oh, it's awesome if you have these suppressors on there, the better everything is. We do need pro-Second Amendment organizations out there. I think they are trying to do work. I think most of them are trying to do work in good faith. But they're also being.
I don't think. I resist that. Most are not trying to do work in good faith. There are a lot, and
they are trying to do stuff out there.
Not in good faith. Not the national org.
Listen, they have to deal with politicians at the end of the day.
Most of them don't deal with the politicians. They hire lobbyists. DOA has their own lobbyists, though.
That whole thing, I feel like, bleeds in. When you start dealing with those people, it's almost like a disease. Like, come in contact with that level of society,
that's
and
the
it's almost
disease.
like a disease.
Yeah.
You like this whole mentality of like, we did good.
Do you think the alternative of us not even knowing what's going on and these politicians just all figuring it out behind the scenes?
State groups are good.
Do you think that's better?
No, so there's what I'm saying is the national groups are definitely not operating in good faith. There's not a single one of them that's operating in good faith. Period. End of story. Like documentably proven.
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either.
I don't agree.
Well, you can. Okay. We can have a separate discussion on that, and I will give you documentary evidence for every single one. But there's plenty of state level groups that people are actually working in good faith.
No, Mark Kelly. We are not talking this into being a good thing. This isn't a good thing, and none of us think it is.
All of us hate this.
Whoever is jumping in late, all of us hate this. We do not think this was a good compromise. None of us wanted this.
Yeah. I never asked for this.
Exactly.
Listen,
you can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah. I would just say, from my experience of dealing with, I dealt the most with DOA, right? When I got into this, the king of the hill was probably the NRA.
Yes.
Yeah. So, someone just noticed I was in the corner. So when I got into this, everything was NRA. And I think that the NRA just got too big and got very selfish. And
they became what the government, what we hate about government.
Right. What I would like to do, what I know about the most is the GOA, and I'm not part of the organization, but I talk to those people. Crump right there is part of the organization.
Yeah. What I would like to do.
Hey, Damien and Christian, what's going on?
And a lot of folks out there are, and like you just.
We love Crump.
Listen, what I would like to do, what I would like to do is, this is a really interesting topic, but it's kind of off topic.
We're getting way off.
I would like to set up a debate.
I'm not prepping for a debate. I have guns to go build. I don't have time for. I think we're in the blame stage, right?
5 levels of acceptance.
Listen, if I'm going to do something in my off time, it's going to be building that MP40 that's out there. I'm not prepping.
What? Don't you have something else to do?
Yeah.
I think what happened here, Crump, is we're blaming, and we're all to blame. The politicians are to blame. Everyone out there is to blame. But yeah.
Last time we tried to have a debate with 2 lawyers, it didn't work out because one decided not to show up.
That was so funny.
You never debate a lawyer. You can't debate.
John needs to do a video on this.
Why?
We haven't talking about it yet, but there wasn't a positive out of this weekend with the, like Safety Arbor said, barrels and parts kits. That's a big, exciting thing. It has nothing to do with this loss. Barrels and parts kits coming back is pretty cool.
You need a win.
I want to win. I want to
barrels and parts kits. The funny thing is, it's like, oh, here's your big shit sandwich. Oh, and the thing that we could have just written on a piece of paper and done like a year ago.
forever ago.
Here's your little crumb. Be sure to vote for us again. Honestly, man, I'm done. I'm opting out from the entire system. Screw them. They just
The problem is they do not opt out from you from being in the system.
You're going to be rooming with Matt Hoover soon.
Yeah,
You know what?
This is all. A lot of life is in your mind. It's your perception. Don't allow yourself to be defeated.
Go get 40 acres and don't talk to anybody.
You know what? That's the plan. That's got to be the plan.
That's
Otherwise,
not one either.
Don't fuck off to 40 acres and I can just do what I want.
Yeah, there's only so much jerking off.
This is true.
40 acres.
Fine.
You need someone out there.
I'm starting to understand why certain people clack off at SMS. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate y'all coming in and hanging out.
I'm going to go to the light. The black hole thing. In the future reconciliation.
All right, so that covers most of it, guys. Thanks for popping in. I'll catch up with you later.